Life is so good for the soul. Share a moment with a complete stranger or somebody you know. Don't care if you're young or you're old. Sit down and tune into the best show. Lee bringing all the flavor. Interviews getting greater and greater with a nostalgic feel. You know she got the mass appeal. Word up.
So did you get a chance to work out in the black spaces? I believe Bernie Mac was around at that time, right?
Bernie came up, yes, and this was a great thing because the things I was telling you that gave me pause and apprehension about doing Black Room. Bernie had his room that he would do when he was in town called Miltroneers. It was down on McClure Court or somewhere, Fairbanks, somewhere around there. It's the place that is now with the Tommy O'Toole's.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, you know Tommy O'Toole's?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, that used to be a place called Miltroneers.
Mm-hmm.
When the Trenier, and Bernie had his show there.
Mm-hmm.
And Bernie would come on, and Bernie would say at the start of the show, listen, you know, no hash, no cell phone, no whatever you got, no respect the artist, no heckling. So he groomed the type of audience that you'd want to be in front of. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And because that's where, you know, that's where it starts with the host. However the host is, that's how the audience is going to be.
Mm-hmm.
Whatever the host gives the audience permission to do, that's what they're going to do. Mm-hmm. You know, just like a parent. Oh, I can't control my kids. You could if you chose to. Mm-hmm. To a degree. I don't oversimplify, because I know some people trying their best and kids still running the whole crib and, you know, threatening the parents. So, you know. But Bernie would tell them those. So all the people who were inclined to do those sort of things didn't come. Mm-hmm. And so I used to do his room, and it was fantastic. Oh, I loved it. Yeah. So that's the thing. So it wasn't really. So I make a generalization. But it really wasn't. It wasn't black folks. It was certain types of people that I didn't want to. Because I'm not going. I don't want to get up there because, again, a lot of black rooms, not all of them, of course, but and a large component of black comedy. Again, not all of it, especially now as things are going on. I think the parameters are broadening as far as the type of comedy black people are doing and the type of black folks that are doing comedy. So all those things are changing, I think. Mm-hmm. But back then, especially, you know, if you know, the host is usually, you know, bagging and jonesing on the audience, and you know what I mean. And not to say it can't be hilarious. It could be hilarious, but sometimes then they go too far, or the audience wants to take. You know, I just didn't want to be doing that, and because I'm not trying to fight nobody. You know what I mean? Because I could probably get off some good ones, and then I'm gonna die. That was the funniest dead brother I ever saw. Woo! He made me. He was hilarious. Too bad he won't be able to do another show.
Dang.
You know, and I've seen it or heard of it. As I'm sure you've had, where audiences or comics. I was with a friend of mine one time. This was in California, and she was doing a show in Long Beach. You know, black crowd, whatever, fine. And the host was up there, and they, you know, talking about folks and, you know, this and that, to a point. This one brother got up out the audience and walked up on the stage and was just like standing, like, you know, looming over my man. But, you know, the host, to his credit, because, you know, I guess if you're the type of person who's going to be talking about people, I guess you're ready to do whatever. He's like, you know, make a move. You know, it's like, but I was like, oh boy, please God, if I live, you know.
No, I totally understand that. And you just kind of led me to what I'm going to ask you about, because you brought up being in California. Mm-hmm. And we're talking about, so we're now 80s going into the early 90s. Mm-hmm. And you were in a movie called Talking Dirty After Dark.
Yeah.
Yeah. So tell us about that process. How did you land this film with Martin Lawrence and Tiny Lister and John Witherspoon?
Yeah, some of the greats.
Yeah.
How did I wind up in that? That's a good question, Lily. I'm glad we're having this talk. Ask myself that question. Okay, this is how that happened. It all started in 1988. I did Showtime at the Apollo.
Okay.
So at this point I had been going out to New York and performing. I did Showtime at the Apollo as just a guest, not on the amateur part, you know. And I did well. It went great. Second time, not so much, but that didn't air, so act like that never happened. You know, but so I had the tape. They gave me the tape. So I had my friend Jetta Jones, who I knew, we had met in New York. She's living in New York. She's from New Orleans. She decided she was going to go out to LA to just, see what's going on. And so she goes out there, and there's a person named Topper Carew, this brother. Yeah.
What was he, a producer?
He was a producer, a writer, director, all of that. Manager.
Yes, he was Martin's manager.
He was Martin's manager. So Topper, Jetta goes to the Comedy Store, seeing what's going on. So she goes up in the belly room, sees a show. I think she performs there. And at the time, Topper Carew, who, like I said, is managing Martin. He was managing at the time this cat named Daryl Savad, this brother from Detroit. And Daryl had a television show on ABC called Homeroom. He played the principal or teacher, something like that. So Topper's in there with Daryl, and it's a showcase, so they're in there scout town, I guess. They see Jetta. Daryl approaches her, introduces her to Topper, we like you. Okay. Jetta gets Topper my Showtime at the Apollo tape. So now keep in mind, I've been to New York, I've done the show, I'm back and forth. I'm primarily New Chicago. At this time, I'm back in Chicago. So one day I get a call, and it's Topper. Well, no. She gives him the tape, unbeknownst to me. One day I get a call, and this is a cat named Mark Hirschfeld. Hello, can I speak to Dwayne? Yeah, my name is Mark Hirschfeld. I'm a casting director. I cast a show called 227. He said, well, I can't even remember if they saw your tape, whatever. However they knew about me. At the time, it was even more mysterious. Like, how'd you get my number? Who is this? You calling from heaven? You know what I mean? So he said, would you like to audition for the show? We're doing this part, we're casting this new part, and you think you might be right. Would you like to audition? Yeah. Now, at the time, keep in mind, I had never been further west than, I don't know, the Quad Cities, whatever. The suburb, whatever. I had never been further west than that from Chicago. So he's calling to ask, well, I want to potentially fly out to LA and audition for this TV show. He said, okay, well, I said, yeah. I said, what do you do? He said, well, I'm going to send you your address. I'm going to send you the sides, which is just a portion of the script. He said, I'm going to send you the sides. I'd like you to record this, to videotape this, send it back. Fine. He sends me the sides, I read it. Like, I don't have a video camera, but I know a cat on 47th Street. Mark Finley's got a video camera. So I go to his crib, set the camera up in his living room. He reads the scene with me. I send it back. We like it. So, get some water. We'd like you to audition for the show. Okay. So then at that point, when you get ready to audition for a TV show, as I know it, maybe things are different now, I don't know, I haven't done it for a minute, but you sign what they call a pay or play deal. So you're supposed to be locked in at a certain price so that if you do get the part, because they're going to audition a bunch of people, but if you do get the part, boom, you're locked in. They know now, Lily, we're going to give you the part. Now you start negotiating based on the fact, so they just keep that simple. So how did this go? Okay. So when I sent that tape back and they decided they're going to fly me out there, that's when I heard from Topper. Because Topper had given them that tape. Hey man, this is Topper Carew, And I can say, and I had never met Topper. I'd read about him in Ebony. I'd seen him on TV, I'd never met him, But they had set this up, we're going to come out here, you're going to fly out, we're going to audition for this part. And we're going to introduce you to this cat named Mike Eisenstadt, who was an agent. So now, I've never left my bedroom in Chicago, and now I have a manager in LA, and I got an agent. Mike has that. So now Mike, we conference call one day. This Mike, as we talking, and says, okay, so they start. That's what it is. So they started negotiating the contract on my behalf. Now I hadn't even flown out there yet, but it's like, and Mike would update me. Oh yeah, we got this. You're gonna get. I don't know what it was at the time. They're gonna give you $2,500 a week, and then plus this and that, whatever. This, keep in mind, this is 88, 89. Then he called me back, we got it up to 3, and then you're gonna get so. Okay. Because it must have been from the time they said they're gonna fly me out there, it might have been like 7 to 10 days, something like that. Mike would call me back, okay, we got him up to 6,000, it's gonna be 6,000 a week, and then you'll get a percentage of the merchandise, whatever. So they thought I'd get that in order. Then I signed. That's what it was. So then I signed it. Fly out to LA. I meet my manager, Topper and Alice Carew, his wife, who passed away. Rest in peace. She's a great person. They fly me out there. I'm staying at the Mondrian on Sunset Boulevard per diem. They give me $60 a day per diem. I'm like, man, this is better than my crib.